Hello, everyone. You're watching Let's Talk About Prepping. I'm Tyler, your host, and today I want to talk to you about some things that we can all do to save lives during tragedies like public shootings and other events that are the greatest causes of preventable deaths. I think we agree that gun violence is a tragedy, and I believe that most of us are strongly affected when we receive news of some new event of mass violence. But often, these events are too far removed for us to provide even direct aid. And so, often, our focus is relegated to the realm of politics or debate, or perhaps acquiring self defense skills. But today, I want to talk to you about some things that we can all do to prevent needless deaths in a variety of situations. I believe that public acts of violence, like shootings or bombings, are carried out by individuals who are experiencing extremes of one form or another, whether that be alienation, hatred, mental illness, or likely a combination of any of these. These are societal issues, which I believe can strongly be alleviated through awareness and support. And I believe that we can find solutions as a society by looking at how we treat fringe individuals and those who are in crisis. But these, and even gun control laws, are only passive preventative measures and will eventually fail to prevent tragedy. And so I think that we as individuals should know how we want to respond in these situations. If we ever encounter gun violence, our first concern is the safety of ourselves and those around us. Always be aware of your surroundings, and if it is safe to do so, secure the room that you are in or flee from the violence. Again, always be aware of what is the safest option and never take action if it may put you or others at risk of violence. There are a lot of great resources lately trying to share information about what you should do in situations of public violence and other tragedies. And as always, I strongly suggest that you do your own research and not just stop with what I have to say. In situations like this, isolation, dense barriers, and distance are key. So again, secure the room that you are in and try to put dense barriers between yourself and the source of violence. And if it is safe and possible to do so, flee the area in a safe manner. Another response to the situation that is commonly discussed and sometimes played out in real life, as I mentioned before, is self-defense or the good guy with a gun. This concept involves a well-trained and well-equipped individual, not unlike a fire or medical response volunteer, who is ready to respond to situations of violence immediately, eliminating the threat before it can cause harm to innocent lives. Again, I think that we can all agree that any violence is a tragedy, but I personally believe that the greater tragedy would be to allow harm to come to innocent bystanders. However we respond to whatever situation we find ourselves in, we may now be injured or find ourselves the first responder to someone else who has been injured before trained professionals arrive. And that's where I want to bring in today's topic of discussion, the trauma kit. A trauma kit is a first aid kit which is specialized to deal with more serious injuries. A well-stocked trauma kit will have the items necessary to treat more serious wounds like gunshot wounds, burns, and deep cuts. I recently put together this trauma kit as a learning experience, and I'd like to share its contents with you. But before I do that, I just want to remind you all that I'm not an authority on anything, especially not first aid or trauma care. I did this as a learning experience, and I want to share that experience with you, simply to promote these thoughts that I think are very important in the minds of others. So keep that in mind as I share with you some of the items that I keep around in case of medical emergencies to help myself or trained professionals who might be around. First, I have this lightweight portable transport unit, which is basically a stretcher to help you transport somebody who can't move for themselves. This was under $20, and I think it's something that a lot of us can keep around to help in case of those emergencies. I started this project with a much smaller kit, but since then it has grown to need this much larger multi-compartment unit. We're going to start today in the larger compartment because that's where I keep most of my trauma items. First, I have a couple pairs of gloves because these will protect you and your patient from infection. After that, I have various types of gauze and bandages, some kept in air-sealed containers, including triangular bandages, medical tape, and an emergency blanket to help protect against shock. After that, I have blood clotting sponges, which are gauze impregnated with blood clotting chemicals, which will help to increase the speed at which blood clots, although I hear that these chemicals burn like hot metal, so keep that in mind if you ever have the need to use them. I also include a pair of trauma shears, which are supposed to be capable of cutting through most clothing and some zippers to help you get to the source of a bleed. A compression bandage, or Israeli bandage as they're sometimes called, is a very serious measure to be used only with proper training and knowledge, and only if you're sure that you need to use it, because any form of severe compression can cause health issues like clots, which can cause damage other places like the heart and brain. But when properly used, these kinds of compression bandages can apply pressure that could save a life. That brings us to the tourniquet, which is a very popular but very serious measure to be used only with proper training, knowledge, and in the proper situation. Again, misuse of some of these measures can cause more serious damage than what was originally incurred. One modern product which I think is great to have around is the Halo Seal. This product is designed specifically for cases where a gunshot wound has gone through the lung and has caused a tension pneumothorax. A tension pneumothorax is a condition in which the lung has been separated from the chest cavity by a bubble of air and blood. This is called a sucking wound, and the Halo Seal can help to prevent this situation by sealing both the entry and exit wound, one side with a valve which allows the exit of blood and air from the wound, but no entry from the outside of any air. All of the items that I've discussed so far can be found for under $20, and I think that that's a very affordable price to pay for items which can help to save lives in even rare tragedies. A couple of other items which can help in these and similar situations are the airway release needle and petroleum gauze strips, which are gauze which is impregnated with petroleum, which can be used to create a makeshift seal over these and other types of wounds. So let's take a minute and look at some of the other items that I have to help in a variety of situations. The CDC says that cardiovascular disease, which often comes in the form of heart attack, is one of the most common causes of death in America. And so one thing that I like to keep around, just in case I'm in the proximity of one of these events, is aspirin, which is commonly suggested to help alleviate many of the symptoms of heart attacks because it dilutes the blood and allows it to keep flowing to places like the brain in the case of a heart attack. So let's just take a minute and look at all the items that I have in here because some of them have already proven very useful to myself and others. Some chapstick, antacids, chemical cold compresses, airway items in case of allergic reactions, more gloves, more petroleum strips, a pen and a notepad to keep notes, feminine hygiene products, Band-Aids, various gauze, more petroleum gauze, Sharpies of various colors, ibuprofen, individual razor blades, lots of Band-Aids and alcohol prep pads, more clotting chemical, triple antibiotic ointment, finger brace, and more of the same. In the next compartment, I have a bottle of iodine to help clean wounds, more gauze, more gloves, burn gel, gauze, air-sealed gauze, tweezers, tongue depressor, more gloves, new skin liquid bandage product. And this compartment mostly contains sutures, which are something that I would only use in the rarest of circumstances, as well as some plastic tweezers, some forceps, more gloves, safety pins, more gauze, and trauma shears, as well as an empty pill bottle. And that appears to be most of it, aside from this portable, bendable brace, which can be used in a variety of situations, an oval iPad, as well as various other items like a rubber tourniquet and iodine pouches, and some regular house towels sealed in an airbag. So as you can see, this is quite the jumble of various items that might help in a variety of situations. Clearly, I'm not a professional, and this is just a learning project. But I feel like I've gained a lot of experience towards what I might want in future trauma kits from this project. Through the magic of video editing, we're back where we started with our full trauma kit. I hope that this inspired some good ideas in some of you, and I want to thank you all for watching this Let's Talk About Prepping video, and I hope that you'll stay tuned with us for future videos. Stay safe out there, everybody.